Oh, I'm so happy you're here with me today. Look at where we're going to draw. We're going to do our shark today. Okay. Those are super, super popular with my students. So we're going to practice a shark and then draw out a little underwater scene. So I want you to have a pencil, and it could even be like notebook paper or anything that you want to practice on. It does not have to be good paper yet. Okay, we're going to start our shark body. We're going to make a line that just curves just a little bit. That's going to be the top of his body. Now, I'm thinking to myself, I don't want a big round shark. I don't want a super, super thin shark. So I'm sort of getting my shape before I draw, and it's just gonna be kind of like a smiley face. And I'm coming together at this right side because that's gonna be the tail. Okay, so I'm leaving a little bit of space up here because we're gonna finish that with the mouth. So let's come back here to the tail area. I'm gonna draw a slightly curved line, maybe in the diagonal direction. And this bottom one's gonna be a little bit shorter. Same thing, I'm coming out and curving. Now I'm gonna end these two right here in this center spot of where the body comes out, okay? So I'm gonna curve it back in just a little bit and make those meet up. Now if we wanna get super fancy, we can add in those little, like, a little, actually it goes out. I think I went in the wrong direction for that. Yep. Those little, they kind of, I want to say jut out. That's up to you. You can add those if you want or leave it straight. Okay, let's come over here to his nose area. So our shark, we're just gonna curve this, and then it's almost like a sideways V. I'm gonna come back towards this bottom line, but I want to give a little bit of a mouth to the look of a mouth. So I'm gonna curve that line just so slight and back into the body, and then I can bring this line and give it just a little bit of an open mouth. And that's up to you. You can make it much bigger. You can make it kind of smaller like this, whatever you want. Okay, then our details will be those little side spots. We can give them some like V, they look like little V's for those fins. This first one is going to be close to us on this side of his body. And then this second one I made smaller, so it's as if it's on the other side of his body. So it's gonna look a little bit smaller. Okay, little tricks like that help our eyes to make it look more realistic. And his fin on top, I'm gonna curve just a little bit, but it stays pointy, you guys, okay? And we can curve it back in just slightly. You can make that, adjust it to how big or how pointy, how you want it. And you know, I'm kind of looking at this spot right here. I don't love how that curves up. So I might adjust that with my pencil and make that a little more, yeah, because that spot's a little bit too bubbly. Okay. And does he want an eye? What kind of, ooh, now he looks like a mean shark. Ugh. His slanted eye. Uh-oh. Is your shark gonna be mean? I don't know. I think I might want like Bruce from Finding Nemo. He's a nice shark. Okay, now I have a little underwater scene. Now I drew super, super light so that I can talk and draw at the same time, you guys. And we're gonna do the same kind of thing. We're going to make our curve line first at the top, and then this next one is going to curve. I'm gonna bump and jump because I have a little fin drawn there. It's gonna come closer at the end. Your fin on the back comes up, and you can make little spots that come out. Give it like a little bumpy area. This bottom one is not as long, so stop it a little bit shorter. And it's gonna join that top one. Okay, let's get over here to his nose. Curve that line, and I'm gonna bring that up into that body area. And then, oh, I don't have much space for teeth, but I'm gonna wiggle in some little triangles for those teeth, okay? Then we are ready for those details that might be in his body. His little fins, that's that front one on our side, and then that second one. Oh, these I did on the front. In the practice we did it behind. It doesn't matter. You can do it whichever way you want. And that fin on top that we do not want to see in the water when we're swimming, right? Nope, 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 nope. Okay. Now, what about his eye, you guys? Is he gonna be a mean shark? I think I'm gonna face this one like this, so he's not so mean. Okay, now what can we add down here? How about some seaweed? My shark is deep in the ocean under there, so he's gonna be swimming along the bottom maybe. I might even add some sand and maybe a little starfish on the bottom. I don't know, you can add whatever you want. What about some coral poking off? You know our oceans are all about these wavy organic lines. So you just wave, 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 wiggly wave, and another wiggly wavy line. There's no right or wrong. And now we're ready to color our shark. What color is your shark gonna be? I think my shark might be in the blue grays, kind of like my dolphin. I liked how that dolphin turned out. Hopefully you guys did the dolphin video. Did you draw and practice that dolphin? I hope so, because those were really fun. And remember, the more you practice, the better you get. So I like to sometimes color my subjects with my crayons, and then I can go back with my watercolor and fill in the rest. But it depends on what you have at home. You guys might have crayons, and crayons are pretty awesome. I love crayons. You might have colored pencils, you might have markers, and you can mix it up. You could color your shark with colored pencils and then use crayons for the big areas. You know, I don't really love markers for big areas. Markers can look kind of messy and sloppy. So you really have to use your markers with great craftsmanship if you're using markers for big giant spots like that water would be. And I teach that to my students for sure. I teach them to use those bigger markers, like for instance, you're not going to get a little tiny marker and start to color this big giant area with something thin like that. Oh my gosh, please don't do that. You definitely need, if you're gonna do that, you need that bigger marker, and we call them elephant strokes. You're gonna use the side, that whole side of the marker. You're not gonna be coloring like that with the tip. You go lay it down and you make your marker go side by side and gets nice and neat and even marker lines, okay? But I also say that crayons are even better because you have those big areas that you can cover really great and super solid and neat with those crayons. And if you have water paint, it's even better because you're painting water. So especially with those pictures that have the ocean or any type of water, our water paint is awesome. We love watercolor. And these little guys, I chose a really bright, this is screaming green. So this is a super, kind of like a neon color, and I'm having to press a little bit harder to get it to show up good. But I think it's gonna look really good with the blue in the water. All right, I think my coral needs to be orange. And possibly, I think I might paint my sand at the bottom. What do you think about my starfish? I think maybe an orange starfish could be fun too. So we want to think about balancing our colors too. So I had orange here and I have orange here and then I have green and green. And now we can start a little bit of a sand at the bottom. And I might get a little bit of brown in there. And depending on your crayon, like coloring my shark, I might even be able to go straight over him with my blue, and my crayon can stop the water from attaching to the paper. I talk about that a lot in my videos because it's such a cool trick. That crayon resist is super awesome. All right, and my water's gonna be lighter at the top, and it's gonna get a little bit darker as I go down. And that just gives my painting a little bit of a difference in areas. So we call that variety. And it helps our eyes not be bored. So as I go down my paper, and see with my crayon, I don't have to be super, super careful around my shark because it's blocking all that paint because it's that wax. Super cool, right? Love that trick. Same with my green seaweed. Look how cool that is. I can just go over it and just the teeny little areas that may have, oh, I can even wipe it away. I love that. All right, so down here, I'm going to wet my paper first. And that helps my paint slide around and fill in a little bit better. So I'm just wetting it with water. And we call this wet on wet with our watercolors. Now I can go in with my color, a little bit darker. And I'm using two different blues. And you can move around that color since it's wet, and it helps it not look so streaky, because our watercolor paint can do that sometimes. When it hits that dry paper, it just sticks and you get this big streak. But if you wet it before, it helps that paint, it's just gives it a little bit more movement, and you can get it where you want it. Down here, I'm going to add it just a little bit darker. All right, I hope you're going to practice your underwater scenes and that you're going to love them. Your sharks can be so cool. And also, you guys remember, it's really helpful to look at something. Like, you could even Google silhouette, shark silhouette or dolphin silhouette, and that gives you that outline, just the black outline, the silhouette does. So it's really helpful sometimes just to get that outline as you're drawing. So when you do that, it gives you all of these different positions of them as well. So it might be like a curved body with the tail flipped a different way. So that's really cool to start practicing. Once you've tried this and you're comfortable with it, then challenge yourself and get those different images to see what kind of different positions that you can draw of those subjects. It's so fun. All right, the more you practice, the better you get. Remember, the more you practice, the better you get. And I hope you love your awesome shark scene. And remember, you guys can like and subscribe, okay? That way you don't lose the videos and you can come back and you can try them again and again. All right, have fun and be creative.